Welcome to ULABA USA. This is Question Mark. In this video I'm going to discuss the differences and similarities between the HighTech SE and SL models with the new MAGIO MX circulator. So the older units, the HighTech SE and SL units that you can see here, both have 3 kilowatts of heating power, temperatures up to 300 degrees C with a 4-speed pressure pump. The maximum pump is pressure is 5.8 to 10.2 psi, with the flow rate ranging from 22 to 26 liters per minute. They come in heating bath combinations of 6, 12, and 26 liters. So as you can see from a user interface perspective, the SE is very basic with a TFT screen and just several interface buttons here, while the SL adds a second LCD screen for additional information and a numeric keypad, making set point and data entry a lot easier. Okay, so these are excellent circulators for heating applications, whether internal if you want to put an object in the bath tank, but most people use these for external applications, heating a reactor or a distillation or something like that. So we step forward now to the MAGIO MX model. It is similar in that it is also a 230 volt unit with 3 kilowatts of heating power, a maximum temperature of up to 300 degrees C. It also comes in bath tank combinations of 6, 12, and 26 liters. But as you can see, there's a marked improvement with a colored TFT user interface with 3 screens to view information or graphs, and the main menu allows you to easily access and change any of the settings and parameters. A much easier navigation system than going through the SL or the SE models. The MAGIO MX also incorporates a pressure suction pump, but instead of a 4-speed preset speeds like the SE and the SL have, the MAGIO MX is adjustable from 40 to 100%. So it gives you a broader range of flow rate and pressure. For example, it can do 3.5 to 13.3 psi and 16 to 31 liters per minute. So the MAGIO MX has a higher capability pump for a flow rate perspective. So if you have an application that needs greater flow than what the SE or the SL, then you would be well served to choose the MAGIO MX model. Additionally, from a calibration perspective, the SE and the SL can be calibrated with either 1, 2, or 3 points, while the MAGIO MX unit can do 1, 2, or up to 10 points. So if you have an application where you need to calibrate across a broad temperature range, or you want to have a lot of data points, the MAGIO MX gives you a much tighter calibration capability. All right, so let's look at the back of the units. We have the SE, the SL, and the MAGIO MX. All units are similar in that they have M16 male threaded pump connection fittings. All units come with a pair of 8 and 12 millimeter hose barbs. In addition, they have an integrated cooling coil, which you can see these ports here. So if you want to do active cooling from a high temperature, you can connect this to tap water and then it'll cool it down actively. So let's look at the I/O on the models to do a comparison. On the SE, we have a serial port for RS-232 and an optional slot here for an analog module if you want to control via voltage or current. There is also an external PT100 port, which is important for controlling from your external application. If we move on to the SL model, you'll see we also have a serial port for RS-232, but the SL also adds RS-485 capability. We still have the PT100 port and the optional analog module slot. We have these 2 interesting connectors as well on the back of the SL. These are called Stockeye outputs. These are a 230 volt output that can control external devices. For example, inline solenoid valve. That's helpful if you have an application elevated and you don't want any siphoning to happen once the unit is off. And it can also control a cooling coil solenoid, which would then automatically open and close the cooling water to bring the temperature down from an elevated temperature. Or if you're using water as your heat transfer fluid, and you're concerned about evaporation over time, this can also use that cooling water solenoid as an auto refill function. If we move on to the MAGIO MX, you'll see that we have a serial port. It has both RS-232 and RS-485 capability. We have an optional slot here for your analog module as well. So those are both similar to the SL model. But the MAGIO MX incorporates a lot more modern communication capabilities with Ethernet port, Modbus, TCP/IP is integrated. We also have a USB Type B port for communication directly to a PC, and a USB Type A slot, so you can actually do data recording on the system directly with a USB device. You can save service data for remote data analysis, and also you could save configuration files. So if you set up a MAGIO MX and you want to duplicate that at other positions in your facility, you can simply save that profile on the USB stick, take it over and download it, and don't have to reprogram everything. The system also has one 230 volt stock eye. So this again can control either solenoid valves for inline or cooling water and things of that nature. Okay. So when would you choose one of the SE, the SL, or the MAGIO MX? Well, based upon the front, the user interface, the MX being a lot easier with the color touchscreen, and all of the different data and I/O capabilities of the MAGIO MX, it's a lot easier to integrate into more modern PLCs and applications of that nature that might use external computer control. So if you have an application and you're not quite sure which model to select, please go to www.ulabo.us. We have a compare function on the site where you can choose up to 4 models. For example, you could choose the SE6, the SL6, and the MXBC6, and it'll display the characteristics of the units there. If you still have questions about your application, please feel free to reach out to one of our account managers or any of our support personnel, and we'll be happy to discuss your application with you.